One field officer in East Java has 380 borrowers. Multiply that by 31,000 monthly across Indonesia, and you get BRI's entire relationship with 34.2 million people. For every one of those monthly, there are hundreds of stories like this. A woman who has repaid her KUR loan faithfully for 10 years, never missed a payment and never grown. And this one, who got just one introduction to a real buyer and graduated to commercial credit in 2 years. Same bank, same loan product, 10 years of difference. So, what actually separates them? BRI's challenge is usually framed as a trilemma: build supply capacity, open demand access, deliver social value, pick your balance. We think that framing is a decoy. Not wrong. Just aim at the wrong scarcity. 34.2 million borrowers, 31,000 field officers. That's hundreds of relationships per person every single day. And right now, BRI's own portfolio strategy is shrinking that borrowers base by 4.1% a year, even as the loan book grows 5.3%. BRI isn't choosing to exclude people. Its mantri are already full. Every new head office priority becomes one more thing a saturated field force has to carry. So, before we talk about what to build, we need to talk about what's actually scarce. And it isn't money. The scarcest resource is attention.
So, if attention is the real constraint, the next question is simple. Where does 1 hour of a mantra's attention do the most good? Traditional mentoring puts one mantra with one business for months. For firms, it is the most expensive lever BRE has. A single buyer introductions, on the other hand, can reach an entire cluster of 15 businesses in one afternoon. That is not a theory, that is what BRE's own data already shows. BRE has a well designed ladder from cash assistance all the way to commercial credit. And the problem was never the menu. The problem is that businesses get stuck at one rung, usually between KUR and Kupedes. They're feasible but still not bankable. We call this stage B. And this is exactly where a buyer introduction has one of the highest leverage anywhere on the ladder.
So, here's what we're not going to do: build another new product. Berry doesn't need another application or another loan scheme. Berry already has 6 programs that provide almost everything that's required. The problem is that they don't operate as one connected system. Well, we call this orchestration layer Mekar, or Mitra Ekonomi Kelompok Naik Kelas. Mekar doesn't invent new interventions, but it sequences the interventions that Berry already has. At the base, Berry's 1.19 million agents manage the high volume activities, including financial literacy, onboarding, and payment discipline. This allows the mantri to focus their attention on higher value activities.
Then comes the readiness gate. Women led savings groups such as Arisan vouch for one another. It is a peer verified readiness system. The monthly does not have to assess every single business individually anymore. The group helps identify which businesses are ready. This is the one social intervention that can scale without adding a single hour to a monthly's day.
Only after a business cluster passes the readiness gate does a specialized mantri step in. The mantri no longer operates as primarily as a mentor, but now as a connector. 50% of the field force will be redeployed to perform the activity that creates the greatest impact, connecting ready business clusters to real buyers through government procurement, digital marketplaces, and various anchor corporate clients.
Here is one specialized monthly working under this model, can produce in 1 year. One specialized monthly can supervise approximately 450 MSMEs, support around 31 graduations annually, and generate an estimated 310 million rupiah in incremental income. And against approximately 30 million in allowances cost, this is not a subsidy. It is a self-financing model. At pilot scale with 4,650 specialized monthly, the model could reach more than 2 million MSMEs and support approximately 144,000 graduations each year. We also tested the model against more conservative assumptions. A lower ticket size estimate reduces the projected value by approximately 7 times. Even then, the model remains net positive. We would rather present a defensive range rather than rely on a number that cannot withstand scrutiny. And remember, the entrepreneur who paid consistently for 10 years but remains stagnant under Makar, she does not have to wait for a decade for one fortunate introduction. The system identifies her readiness and connects her to the next opportunity.
BRI's trilemma was never really about budget.
It is about 31,000 people spend their attention hour by hour.
Makar doesn't ask Barry to do more. It asks Barry to sequence what it already has in order to make a greater impact.
Same bank, same country, a different outcome for millions.